A snap back to reality for NC State football. It's all about the U, they say. Saturday night, they were correct.
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Wolfpack Nation? It's time to get locked in with Locked On. Thanks for making Locked On Wolfpack your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network, your team every day. Our Monday show is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Big basketball game in the Lenovo Center tonight. Download the Gametime app and use code LOCKEDONCollege to get in the doors this evening. Monday. Sure feels like a Monday, I can tell you that much. What's up, Wolfpack Nation? As always, I am Grayson Boone, joined by former Wolfpack defensive tackle Kenton Gibbs. A tough weekend for NC State. NC State football goes on the road at Miami and gets absolutely pulverized, 41-7. In fact, after the pick six there in the first quarter, that just about sealed it up there pretty early on the road. Just didn't feel like we ever had a realistic shot in this game. And I think that's just an extremely deflating feeling coming out of a bye, especially the last game you played was the moment of the season, a big upset win against Georgia Tech. So you figured like, okay, maybe there's some momentum. Maybe there's some more belief in the locker room. You had, I guess, 2 weeks to prepare for this. Let's see what we can do against another pretty high caliber team. 41-7. 41-7.
It's tough to even generate words to describe what this game was like. And it's so interesting that you said that pick six late in the first was like, oh, this game is over now. Because I think the most interesting thing about it is we have a team that I'm not going to say they quit in this game, but I'm going to say they deeply lack resilience. Agreed. This is a team that, I mean, serious question, Grayson. Have we come back from any double-digit deficits this year? Have we come back from
Wake Forest? At Wake Forest, yes.
Have we come back from trailing? You're correct, Wake Forest. Have we come back from trailing in the second half against anybody this year? I don't believe so. And it's displayed by the fact that you and I have both said about CJ that we know how the game will go based on his first quarter alone. Yep. Based on his first quarter alone, that'll tell you all you need to see. Yep. You show me his first quarter, and I will tell you how the entire game plays out for the offense. Because this is like, what do you say? What do you say when you throw that pick and instantly you know, oh boy, it's all going haywire. It's all going haywire. Off of a 10-point deficit. 10. We're not talking about 30. We're not talking about a 20 ball. Hell, Texas A&M just came back from down 27.
Yeah.
And we're talking about one play that puts you down 10, and we were like, oh yeah, this is over. This is over. Many people saying this is over at that point. It's a team that lacks composure. I will give them that they play hard. I will give them that they try. But, trying ain't enough. Trying ain't enough, especially not against a team as talented as Miami is. Because at the end of the day, the recipe to beating Miami is simple. Force turnovers.
Yep. And
when you're playing against it offensively, you have to do something on the ground. And this was as piss poor of a performance in terms of run blocking on the first level that I've ever seen. Virginia Tech was the worst second level blocking I'd ever seen from this offensive line. But this was the worst first. I'm like, what's going on? Every time you look up, one of their defensive linemen's running free in the backfield. And I'm just like, what's happening here? This was a tough one, man. This was a tough one. And, last time I heard about somebody getting bullied like this in Miami, G-Reg and the 7th floor crew were rapping. This is rough.
I didn't think you'd go there with it, but no, I mean, it's hard to disagree with that. This was NC State getting ragdolled. This was getting turned upside down, held by your ankles, and you're getting shook for lunch money. It was just, it was bully ball. on both sides of the line of scrimmage could not generate anything all day. 29 total yards on the ground, just 120 through the air. And of course, a lot of that's going to come in garbage time because the game was already lost pretty much in that first quarter, if not at halftime. If you had a window open when you're watching this game, or maybe you were outside when that pick six was thrown, I think you could actually hear the collective, well, there goes that one from Wolfpack Nation, because that is exactly how it felt. And again, Kenton's point, and we talk about this a lot of times this season with this team, you can tell in the first 15-ish, like 20 minutes of a game, if they have it or not. And once that pick six was thrown, you had your answer. One of the keys, and we'll get more into the keys here in just a second, but one of the keys was for CJ to essentially play what might have been like the game of his life. He needed to have a QBR around 85 or better. His QBR was 13. 13.
And again, 50 is average, people. 50 is like you're the average quarterback.
17 of 30 for 120 and 2 interceptions. He did run in a touchdown. He was 6 of 17 on the ground for our only score of this game, 41-7. We did not cross into Miami territory, did not cross the 50-yard line until there was 5 minutes left in the game. 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter was the first time you crossed midfield. Just got dominated, just got pantsed on national television. And so this is in large part why we didn't have a post-game live, because it's the same as what we're doing right now. What can you actually say? You got dominated. Hat tip to Miami, I guess. Like, they were the more talented team. They played like it. They executed well, and they stood on our throat and did not allow us chances, or at least too many chances, to get back into this football game. That's what good teams do.
Yeah.
Other teams on the other side of that equation, they essentially fold up when the going gets tough. And that's what NC State did there in the first quarter and throughout the rest of this game. CJ Bailey did not play well. So if you were worried about him going to Miami, I think you can just about squash that. I'd find it hard to believe that that's going to be Miami's guy next year. So enough of that storyline. I'm tired of hearing about it. It's a bunch of nonsense. This team is just not good enough to play consistently good football against some of the better teams in the country. Georgia Tech, I think now we have a clearer answer on them. They're a little fraudulent. They honestly got lucky to escape with another win, because that was the theme of their season up to the point where we beat them. They were escaping. They escaped at Boston College. This NC State team is not consistently good enough. They don't execute well enough. They don't scheme well enough. They don't read the field well enough. They don't play complementary football well enough. They don't do anything well enough to be consistently competitive in these games. And so a team like Miami, who recruits as well as they do, as aggressive as they get in the portal, yeah, they're going to drop the hammer on you, especially when NC State's coming out of a bye. Miami has everything to play for in this game. NC State at this point in the season, they're only playing for bowl eligibility and for each other. And in a game like this, it's just not enough. So 41-7, this kind of felt a little bit like a scheduled beating. If you're picking up what I'm putting down here, it's not exactly a massive surprise that the game went the way that it did. And so, to be honest with you, how can you be that upset? Like, I'm not even that angry at the result. It's embarrassing nonetheless, but it's like, well, I mean, yeah, what'd you really expect out of a game like this?
This feels crazy to say, Grayson. This feels insane to say. The best football team in the state of North Carolina by a good margin is Wake Forest.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say the other one.
No, it's not Duke. It's not the Dirty Foot Club. It's Wake Forest.
No, there's another one they're doing a lot of yapping nowadays.
Who?
ECU.
Oh, stop it. Oh, get that nonsense out of here.
I don't agree with that take either, but they are somehow still alive for the American Conference. They just beat Memphis, and for some reason, the 47 fans in the crowd stormed the field. No, never mind. Go ahead.
Here's the deal, right? At the end of the day, we're like, you got beat by multiple other teams. Like, get out of here. But you know, Wake Forest is probably going to finish with the best record out of all of the ACC
they probably
football teams, with a first-year coach that's from the West Coast. The man was coaching in Wazoo for crying out loud this time last year. And he comes over. And that's why I don't really like hearing the excuse of Dave just doesn't have the NIL support, because you're not going to tell me, you cannot tell me Wake is dropping bands, just something crazy that you can't even imagine. Come on, dog. Come on, man. And again, I'm not expecting for this team to win every game. I'm expecting you to be competitive in every game.
100%.
I'm expecting you to be competitive in every game. And this is not the first time now. This is not the first time that we are sitting here in a post game saying this team was not competitive and it wasn't close. As a matter of fact, in the last, 4 games, you're looking at 3 of them being double-digit losses. Yeah, you've got a hell of a win in there against Georgia Tech. Absolutely. But the results of our last 4 games, 36-7, Notre Dame, 53-34, Pitt. We get a win against Georgia Tech, 48-36. Good job. But now you got 41-7. At some point, it don't matter how hard guys are fighting. It don't matter how hard guys are battling, because the results of the fight and battle are equivalent to teams who have packed it in and given up. It's a shame. It's just a shame.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. I think the best football team in the state of North Carolina right now is Wake Forest, and NC State beat them by 10. It's just salt in the wound. It's the Squidward meme watching Patrick and SpongeBob run around joyful outside. How does this always end up being us? How do we always end up being the butt of the joke one way or another? Whatever. I do not claim this energy. Will Wade is my basketball coach, and he plays on Monday night. So enough of being down in the dumps about this, but we will get into the offensive and defensive reviews coming up next, seeing how Pac football did against Kenton's Keys that we gave you on Friday. This comes after a quick word from our sponsors. Our first Monday sponsor is FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of a game and you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets from everything on who will score the next bucket to each and every fourth quarter comeback. Plus, you can even combine the live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, and especially when your team's the one making that late push. Right now, FanDuel's giving new customers $300 back in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head on over to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Middle portion of our Monday show, time to unfortunately look back through Kenton's Keys to see how Pac football did against them on Saturday evening in Miami. Starting on the offense, the first offensive key, well, I already told you, we needed CJ Bailey to essentially play the game of his life. We were looking for a QBR of at least 85 plus. 13.6, not quite in the neighborhood. Actually, not even in the same zip code. As I told you, 17 of 30, 120 through the air, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but he did have the rushing touchdown. CJ never looked comfortable really in this game. Like even in the beginning of this game, we're talking the first quarter, did not look comfortable. I don't know if the stage was too big for him. The moment was too big. Hometown game, all the storylines. Never looked comfortable. Never looked confident. We've talked a lot about how that has made like a massive difference in multiple different games this season. Against Georgia Tech, he looked like he was in command. He looked like he had no fear, no worries about anything the other team had going on. He was focused on himself and the NC State Wolfpack. You could tell in the back of his head, it's like, oh, Ruben Bain is over there on that left side. Be aware of that all night. Oh, God. Mesidor's on the other side. Oh, what do I do now? Scramble. Oh, pick six, game over. That's what it felt like. So, tough game for CJ. Might have been the worst game of the season, unfortunately, so far. Kenton, what did you see from CJ Bailey on Saturday?
I mean, you're absolutely right. Just a guy that looked a little shook. It's hard to even quantify, like, how rough this is, because you're talking about a situation where at the end of the day, the first quarter was wildly unproductive. And then you throw that pick. It just, from that interception on, it felt like both he and Roper came to a silent agreement. Hey, we're shutting this thing down. We're packing it in.
Yeah.
We're not taking any more shots. We're not going deep with it. Let's just get out of here with minimal damage possible. and it was an embarrassing display. It honestly and truly was, man. And and it's not 100% on CJ, even though the key was about CJ.
Yeah,
it's not 100% on him. It's also incumbent upon our offensive line to block better, and even our receivers. I mean, all night long, if they're saying, "Hey, we're going to get in your face and we're rolling with you all night long," do something.
Yeah,
do something. It was a tough day, man. It was a tough day, and this key reflected what we saw.
yeah.
Because we didn't see a decent version of CJ. We saw just plain out, this is good old-fashioned, bad poo butt football. That's what this was.
And the next two keys reflect upon the fact that it wasn't just CJ's fault. The offensive line was at fault. The play calling was at fault. Everyone, the entire personnel, they had a bad game. And that's what you get, obviously, when you only put up 7 points. So the second offensive key was for big men to lead. We're looking for no more than 1 sack and 2 TFLs. CJ was only sacked once, but we did allow 5 TFLs, so you miss on that one. 0 for 2. And then the last offensive key was to run the damn ball. We're looking for at least 150 plus on the ground. 23. 20 carries for just 23 yards. Again, not close. 0 for 3 on offense. Who's shocked? Not me.
When there's a 34-point blowout, which really, if we take away the garbage time points on both sides here, you're looking at about a 27 to 30-point blowout. When you see that type of deal, what you are looking at is a blame pie that's big enough for everybody to get their slice and seconds.
Yeah.
So this ain't just on CJ. It ain't just on the offensive line. It's on everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody gets their piece of this pie because defensively, we got some things we need to speak about too. The only difference is we know who you are. We knew expecting you to do anything good was like, oh, come on. Who are we? What are we doing here? So, Grayson, kick it off. Let's get into the defensive keys.
First defensive key was to hold on to the rope. We wanted to hold Miami to 28 or less. Obviously did not accomplish that one. They put up 41. However, I do want to credit the defense because I thought they came out of the gate and played relatively well. You forced that early fumble. Miami had to punt it a couple times back to you. I thought the defense did a decent job, all things considered, of bending but not breaking there in the first half. And it's connected. The entire idea is connected, as it has been the entire season. When the offense is extremely ineffective, it only puts more pressure on the defense to essentially be perfect. And we don't have the personnel this season to be anywhere close to perfect. So I thought they did a decent job in the first half. Then obviously when things get out of hand, they're going to get out of hand. But you allow 41 points, so you miss on the first key. The second key was to take advantage of Beck ball. Wanted to force at least 1 turnover. Again, you did get the fumble, but that was not from Carson Beck. Could not force him to throw any interceptions. In fact, you made him look like an All-American in this game. He was 21 of 27, 291 through the air, and 3 touchdowns. He played essentially the game that we would have needed from CJ Bailey to have a shot in this game. So could not force any Carson Beck turnovers. And the third defensive key was actually a special teams key. That was to not lose any points or possessions due to special teams mistakes, a.k.a. special teams, just do your job. Don't mess this thing up for everyone else. That is actually the only key that we accomplished. But just chew on that for a second. The only key we accomplished was for one group, special teams in particular, to not blank it up.
Don't blow it.
And they didn't.
And also, to the defense's credit, we said allow 28 or less. Although 41 points were on the scoreboard, 7 came from a pick 6. So you're at 34. So you still allowed a touchdown over. Yeah. And for reference, here's why that number was important, and here's where that number was generated from, okay? The Miami Hurricanes this season have played a bunch of very, very quality teams. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. But when they played Power 4 and Notre Dame, Power 4 and Notre Dame teams, of those teams, they have been held to 28 or less by Notre Dame, by Florida State, by Louisville, by SMU. So the only teams that they've gotten over that mark against, the only teams in terms of FBS and Power 4, The only teams they've gotten over that 40 or over that 28 rather against was NC State, was Syracuse, was Stanford. That's it. That's all. Other than that, Group of 5 South Florida and Bethune-Cookman. So it's us and Stanford. Congratulations. We share a stat with Stanford football. Interim coach, by the way.
Very go ACC of us, to say the absolute least. So 1 for 6 in totality here. It's about what you expect when you look at the box score, when you watch the game on Saturday. The results are the results. When the team is unprepared, when they're clearly outmatched at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football, this is the end result. So I wouldn't spend too much time clenching your fists over this. Dave Doran this, Dave Doran that. I'm sick. Don't. For this game, it's not worth the energy. If you want to do that for the Virginia Tech game, yeah, I get it. You know why? Because that was me. You saw me do this about a month and a half ago. Or the Duke game. I get it. Those are 2 games that we gave away. This game, don't worry about it. I mean, it is what it is. It's a scheduled butt whooping, 41-7. We keep this thing pushing. We're still fighting for bowl eligibility. We're coming back home to finish the regular season. The next 2 are in Carter Finley. And like I say from time to time on here, I encourage you just to live in the moment. We only get 12 to 13 of these things per year. The last 2 this season will be at home. Be there. Don't wish away the rest of the season for XYZ reasons, because come like April, come May, when it's summer, you're going to wish you didn't. You're going to wish you could be in Carter Finley. You're going to wish you could be tailgating. Don't wish it away. Show up for the rest of this season. Show up for these guys, these seniors coming up. Still got to play Florida State. That's going to be the blackout game. That's always a great energy. And nothing else needs to be said about the very last game on our schedule. You know what type of time we're on for that one. So show up for these last 2 games. Don't waste too much time getting, white-knuckled over a loss to Miami. It is what it is, but we're going to keep this thing pushing. Coming up next, we're going to round out our Monday show with some basketball talk. Will Wade and the gang have a pretty sizable non-conference game in the Lenovo Center on Monday night, and it's against a program that they know all too well. More on this after a quick word from our sponsors. Our second Monday sponsor is Gametime. Perfect timing because college basketball is back. The tailgates, the rivalries, the energy in the stands, there's just simply nothing like it. But let's be real. Sometimes actually getting tickets can feel like more of a battle than the game itself. There's endless queues, hidden fees, and prices jumping off at checkout. That's why this college basketball season, you need to use Gametime. It's the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with 0 surprise fees. What you see is what you pay for. There's a panoramic view of your seat in the app when you buy, so you know exactly what to expect upon arrival. It's faster, it's cheaper, and it's way less stressful than any other ticketing platform out there. So take the guesswork out of buying college basketball tickets this season with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, and again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCollege. LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, Locked On College, for $20 off your first purchase. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. Last couple minutes of our Monday show. Will Wade and the gang are back in action this Monday night in the Lenovo Center, a 7 p.m. tip-off against the VCU Rams. There's a lot of ties to our coaching staff and the VCU program, so this is a game that means a lot to our coaching staff. This is a game that's going to mean a lot to our players via our coaching staff. The energy in the Lenovo Center on Monday night, it will be something to behold. And I hope that this fan base takes account of that and shows up for a 7 p.m. tip-off game. Even though it's a Monday, even though it's a non-conference game, VCU is an extremely solid basketball program, and it has been that way for at least the last decade plus, probably 2 decades if we're being completely honest. VCU is 2-1 this season. Their lone loss was to Utah State, but this is a game that could quite easily turn out to be a quad win, probably a quad 2 game when all things are considered. Kenton, what have you seen from the NC State program so far in 3 games that gives you a lot of confidence heading into this one?
They can shoot the blood out of the basketball. Even when they go cold, you just know it's a volcano waiting to erupt. It's as soon as that first one goes in, you're like, oh, yep, it's finna turn into Mount Vesuvius in here, because this group can spread the floor in a variety of ways with a variety of guys. Jerry Dane is who we thought he was. Quadir Copeland, by the way, interesting stat about Quadir Copeland. I believe he's about what, 75 or 80% this year from deep?
He is.
What is happening? Trey Holloman, we knew that was a part of his game that was going to be here. Darian Williams, we knew that was part of his game that was going to be here. Matt Abel lighting it up from deep as well. And Paul McNeil. I'm going to tell you something. Now. I know what I'm seeing. This is Terquavion Smith all over again, just with more teammates that can shoot around him, that free up some space. I know what I'm seeing when I watch that young man go. And he can do it all in terms of the different types of threes he can make. He can make it off the catch and shoot. He can give it to you off the dribble. Everybody can knock it down, which then frees up space for those drivers, which then frees up space for Darian Williams to go to work in the paint, which then frees up space for Matt Abel, who loves to get to the rim, for Quadir Copeland, who loves to get to the rim. For, it's this team can absolutely light it up from deep. And that's exciting to me. That is what I think makes this team the most dangerous, because at the end of the day, it's hard to have to say, all right, we're going to pick our poison. We're going to have to pick a poison somewhere, because we've seen teams try it different ways. We've seen teams say, we're going to shut off Darian Williams. And what happens? Everybody else scores. You've seen teams say, we're going to play everybody honest. Then what happens? Darian Williams gets a career high. There is no right answer with this team. And so, it's a great thing to see.
I'm glad you mentioned shooting, because both Vegas and myself are expecting a pretty high scoring game in this game. VCU, they shoot it pretty well too. They have 4 players shooting over 40% from downtown. As a team, they shoot it at about 38%. This is a physical team. They're a quick team. They're a well-coached team. Phil Martelli Jr. is the head coach. You might recognize that name because his old man was a head coach at St. Joseph's for a long time, comes from a basketball family. They will be well-coached. They will be physical. They will shoot well. They'll execute well. They're going to test us. This will be effectively our first somewhat of a real test. I don't want to oversell VCU, but they're a solid team. They're always good at the mid-major level. I expect this year to be no different, even though it is the first year with the new coach. We know that Ryan Odom is now at UVA. They're going to test us. They're going to make us work for it. The rebounding in this game, I think, will be a big storyline. Vin Allen Lubin's going to have to play just a little bit better than he has these last couple games. And I certainly expect Musa Sanye to step up in the rebounding department as well. He's been very impressive on the boards. Need another one of those top-tier performances on Monday night. Another thing to watch out for this game is if they do swarm down on Darian Williams, like Kenton was talking about, who's going to step up? Is it going to be Paul McNeil? Is it going to be Matt Abel, perhaps? Is it going to be Trey Holloman coming back from being kicked out of the last game we played? Still ridiculous, but you're going to need another leader or two in this game. I'm not saying Darian Williams can't handle it, because we know that he can, but I think you might learn a lot in this game that might translate to ACC play as well. Like, if Darian has an off night, or if he is being well guarded, who's going to step? Who's it going to be? I think I'll be very fascinated to see the answer for that. Or it might just be Darian Williams, because he is one of the best basketball players in the country. And we should all be very thankful that he's wearing the red and white from NC State this season. But I'm very intrigued by the outcome of this game. It says NC State is a 12.5-point favorite. Obviously, that is the lowest so far. This is the best team we've played up until this point. We're getting now to the schedule where we will be tested. VCU is the first one this week. Obviously, beginning of next week, we will be in Maui. Still got to play Auburn. Still got to play Kansas. It's about to get real interesting for Will Wade and crew. And so far, so good, but you're not going to score 100 on everybody. You're not going to beat everybody by 40, 45 points. This game should be closer, and I expect Will Wade's crew to rise to the challenge.
I don't know, Grayson. You might be able to score 100 on everybody the way this team is scoring the ball. It's tough. It's tough, but I will say this. You're absolutely right in terms of VCU and their shooters being a problem, because we have seen at times those defensive rotations get a little bit slack. We have seen at times allowing a few too many blow-bys, which we know leads to those open threes, because when one guy gets a blow-by, somebody else has to help, and now you can't – we're all scrambling trying to recover because somebody didn't do their job, right? It's like the Spartans holding their shields up. Everybody's got to hold their shield at the exact same length, because if one of you falls, next thing you know, we're all getting pelted with arrows. It's the same thing defensively, right? So that is a thing to look out for. If we cannot stop dribble penetration, it will be a very, very high-scoring affair that, both teams are going to be shooting the lights out in the Lenny. But I got faith in Will Wade, and I got faith that he's successfully told this team after what we've seen in some of these early games, hey, you have got to defend at a higher level than what we've seen.
Listen, if we put 100 on VCU, that's going to take this hype train. It might just run it off the tracks because of how aggressive it's going to get if that is the case. FanDuel has the total for this game at 165.5. We are a 12.5 point favorite. So they're expecting some points. And again, if NC State puts up 100 of them, it's gonna send some waves across college basketball. I can guarantee you that. So should be yet another interesting night in the Lenovo Center on Monday evening. Will Wade, Brandon Chambers, and the Wolfpack go against a familiar foe in the VCU Rams. NC State is a 12.5 point favorite. 7 p.m. tip-off. Wolfpack Nation, we got to show up for this one. That will do it for us here on Monday. As always, thank you all so much for joining us. Be sure to hit that like button. Drop your comments in the comment box. Mash that subscribe button if you have not already. We'll catch you back here tomorrow on Tuesday for more. And until then, go Pack.
Go Pack.